hear you.
Yes,
we can hear you. Thank you.
I'm really grateful for this opportunity and this privilege to share some thoughts with interesting and highly intellectual people like this, and I appreciate the Champions Education Foundation for this platform. I appreciate Mr. Ahmed Abdulkarim, Mr. Mubarak Mustafa, and my lovely mentor, Mr. Ibat Saladin. God bless you all. Thank you so much. So today's topic on significance to nation building. I believe it's a topic that we are familiar with one way or the other. We have all engaged with one way or the other, but it will always remain an important like the goal of the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is gender equality. The world has not yet achieved gender equality. So that is just the past. So meanwhile, for today's topic, the outline has been shared with us. Education remains forever important, either for male or for female. We consider the girl child in the Nigerian girl child education. What characterizes a girl child education? What are the peculiarities of a girl child education? Then we consider the linkages to nation building. How does educating a girl lead to nation building? Then we quickly consider some examples of female achievers. Then solutions for girls' empowerment, recommendation and solution. Thank you. So the first outline says education remains forever important. And I will start with the quote by Malala Yousafzai. She's a female child education advocate. She is the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner. And she says education is the right of every child, and especially for girls. This should not be neglected. If you want to move forward, if you want to go forward, we have to give education to girls. That is, educating girls should not be seen as a luxury, should not be seen as we are being kind to females. Let's just be kind to them. Education generally, it's a necessity. Every one year, are where we are today, among other issues, because we have enjoyed some level of education, at least beyond secondary school. So that means we are a living example of the benefits of education. The special interest in female education is due to the systemic, cultural, or traditional bias against gender equality. It's like there's somehow like a struggle between male and female in society. There's that tendency of males trying to dominate women, try to like see women as less, sometimes get uneasy with the term gender equality. So there's the special interest in female education is due to the systemic, cultural, or traditional bias against gender equality, and the need for robust empowerment of women and girls in communities across the world. That means you hardly hear things like boy child education, because it's like they have some natural advantage. Just you hardly hear something like boy child education, or sometimes you will not hear things like boy empowerment or women or men empowerment. it's usually girl child education. It's usually women empowerment. That shows that there's still a gap between the rights and opportunities male and female have in society. But it should be noted that achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, is it eradicating poverty? Is it ending hunger? Is it ensuring everybody have access to quality education? Is it climate change issue? Cannot be achieved, will be impossible without full and equal participation of women and girls, especially in developing countries like Nigeria, where girls still face cultural or religious bias to formal education. Meanwhile, female child education is a fundamental human right. Like I said earlier, it should not be seen as a luxury, but a necessity for socio-economic stability and nation building in Nigeria. That means it's actually there's a business case, there's an economic case. Except women will become dependent on men and or the states or the family, except we want women to be dependent. Education is a must. Then an homogeneous group. That means there are different peculiarities with the female child. For example, there are girls who are orphans. That's a peculiarity. There are those with disabilities. There are those from broken homes. There are those from rural or urban communities. Some are more exposed than others with similar or unique experiences. In the African context, girls still face social, cultural, and digital bias to their full participation in different aspects of society. That word, digital bias, means that in most cases, a male child will likely get a smartphone before a female child gets, for one reason, he will likely probably have a laptop before a female child gets his or her own laptop. For clearer explanation, the subtitles below show some existing bias. Firstly, the cultural bias. In some parts of the world, women and girls faces harmful practices such as child marriage. And according to the Child Rights Act, it says anybody, any female below the age of 18. That means no matter how sexually mature she might appear to be, no matter how physically grown up she might appear to be, as long as she's below 18 years, marrying her is a form of child marriage. Of course, there are still some argument around it, because in the northern part of the country, it is like normalized. As probably I don't just argument around that, but I'm trying to argue based on the law. The law says any female child below 18 is a child. Of course, in Nigeria, we don't not every state practice the constitution. Some have Sharia law, especially in the north, with strong support from religious leaders over there. But we all know that those who suffer in the case of child marriage are usually the females. Most times they give up on their education, and most times it's usually influenced because of poverty, because you won't find a rich man and an educated even from marriage scene of 15. So there is this cultural bias there's sometimes child labor. You see girls working as nannies or house help. All these things places significant barriers to their education, training, or employability, because those substitutes for education is either you are educated or you naturally become dependent on others. Traditionally, boys are much preferred than their female counterparts. Men are also more likely to hold key leadership positions in most traditional systems and even in contemporary society. Then the next bias is also social bias. Girls have been socially raised in a way that makes them prioritize care work over male-dominated profession. And globally, care work by women is often unpaid. Meanwhile, care work could mean domestic work, could mean child care, could mean all those like what we consider women work, and usually underpaid or less appreciated. The supply of women in primary education, nursing, catering, and other care professions is much more than their male counterparts, except in STEM roles. Though I am encouraged that presently across the world there is a big push for women, for girls to participate in STEM related fields, because that is the future. Every profession has inherent digital aspects of it. Any profession you are thinking of has science and technology around it. Also, boys are more likely to have access to boys are more likely to have access to technological to sustain the existing digital divide. So there's this concept that is called gender digital divide. That means the access to the internet between male and female.
Hello, Daniel.
Yes.
If you look at the message that was sent to you, you spent 30 minutes and you're still unbiased. If you go to the main aspect of the discussion, which is, linkages of child efficiency to nation building. I know you are trying to build a preamble, but we have spent more than half of the time already. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So let me go straight to the definition of a girl child education. When we say girl child education, it's about providing equal opportunities for all girls to access quality education, training, and skills development, while being sensitive to the peculiarities of the female gender. To truly provide quality education for girls, these following conditions must be satisfied. I'll rush through some of these things. The first one is availability of qualified teachers, conducive, supportive learning environment, and availability of wash facilities. The lack of water, sanitation, and hygiene facilities in places of learning have the potential to reduce girls' participation in schools. Girls have reproductive or biological peculiarities that require special investment in areas such as hygiene, period management, or access to period products. Some may not want to come to school if they are unable to get pads or manage their period effectively. Then they also require safety at school, at home, and in the community, because of their vulnerability to sexual exploitation or sexual harassment. Girls need safety at home, in school, and in their community. Then linkages to nation building. The female child education has clear and direct impact on nation building and sustainable development. As the saying goes, if you educate a woman, you educate a community. That is just the reality. An educated woman or lady we is more likely to champion the education of our children or the people around that. She's more likely to influence them. So there's a clear ripple effect when female girls are educated, because they are able to multiply educated girls and women long term. Moreover, there are numerous benefits when enough girls have equal access to quality education. This helps girls to become well-rounded citizens, possessing the skills for gainful employment, contribute towards community development, and attain high-stake leadership position in different aspects of society. That means educated, if girls are educated, they won't only be preoccupied with marriage or survival. They will be interested in participating in society. It's either at the community level, in any sphere of society. By investing generously in the education of girls, nations like Nigeria and Africa across the world can reap the benefit of a skilled female workforce. Except women are skilled, they will often find themselves in vulnerable employment that just provides basic means of survival, while they still remain in poverty. It's sometimes called working poor, working but remaining in poverty. So now is the time to minimize the dependency ratio of women who are either unemployed or poorly paid due to limited skills and opportunities. Girls and women lacking access to quality education risk being dependent on the state, family, or intimate partners. They are also more vulnerable to domestic abuse, exploitation, and transgenerational poverty. Sometimes when men knows that she has her own money, there's this kind of respect that comes along.
Daniel, Daniel, can you hear us? Seems the reception is poor from your end.
Okay, I'm available now. Hello.
Yeah, hi, carry on. Yeah, we can hear you now.
How many minutes more, please?
Yeah, I think you still have like 15 minutes, so you can wrap up your thoughts.
Okay.
And if you can finish early, that's fine. Yeah,
I can finish early. So let me just give now. Let me give some examples of female achievers that we are all familiar with. They are exemplary and inspiring female achievers in different sectors or sphere of society. They include Chima Amanda Adichie, a multiple award-winning novelist, speaker, and feminist. There's a background to this example. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, current Director General of the World Trade Organization since March 2021. She's the first woman and the first African to lead the position. Then Honorable Abike Dabiri Irewa, MD, CEO, Nigerian Diaspora Commission. Even in sports, we have to be Amuson recently became the fastest woman in 100-meter race and the very first Nigerian world champion. The idea about all these points is this: all these women would have been a shadow of themselves without access to quality education. Unfortunately, this is the reality for millions of women and girls in communities across the world. We see them around us, we see them in our streets. Everybody, every woman has the potential to be very great. Everyone has the potential of reaching the highest peak in society. But for women, except they are educated, except they have access to quality education, beyond just going to school or finishing primary school or secondary school, except they have access to quality education, many women, many girls be a shadow of themselves, just surviving, barely surviving, hoping one day to get married, give birth to children, and end their life. Meanwhile, solutions for girls' empowerment. The female gender faces the female gender faces several challenges to their development and full participation in society. However, there are practical solutions to them. In Nigeria, the government female special scholarship program is a welcome development for girl child education, in addition to IT support. Besides, there are inherent benefits when girls are provided the opportunity to realize their full potential. It is important to engage key stakeholders, including religious, traditional, and community leaders on matters affecting girl child in Nigeria. That means the issue of girl child education cannot be handled single-handedly by the government. Everyone, including parents, community leaders, church leaders, mosque leaders, must be interested in girl child education because they are the closest to girls in their communities. So, okay, especially in communities where women and girls are vulnerable to harmful practices like child marriage, female genital mutilation, child labor, that denies them equal rights and opportunities. Hence, the need for full implementation of the Child Rights Act of 2003. In fact, if the government can only implement the Child Rights Act, that alone is the best solution. But presently, not every state has adopted the Child Rights Act. I'm aware of Lagos has adopted it. It's part of the state's law, but some states in the north have not adopted it because it seems against their probably religious interest or belief. This also caters for the dignity and well-being of the female gender. The Child Rights Act itself caters for the dignity and well-being of the female gender. It clearly states the rights of girls to equal education and the protection from violence or abuse. By ensuring sustainable execution of the Child Rights Act, we can prepare tomorrow's women and girls to lead healthy and productive life. Ultimately, the goal of education is that everyone, both male and female, can lead a healthy and productive life. Galvanizing more local and international support for girls' education in Nigeria, closing the gaps in female child education requires a multi-stakeholder approach where the private sector, NGOs are available to provide human, technical, and financial support for girls' education. In conclusion, the role of female child education in relation to nation building has been established. It has been clear. There's a clear relationship between educating girls and nation building. Therefore, parents, teachers, school leaders, NGOs, governments, and donors must proactively ensure all girls everywhere has equal rights, equal opportunities to realize their full potential. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel, for the wonderful presentation. I can only imagine the amount of time that you must have dedicated in giving us these wonderful slides. We really appreciate your time and your dedications towards this presentation. I think it's a good thing that we got ample of time on our side so that we will eventually have a lot of contributors from our fellows and the board members alike. We'll be proceeding to the next stage of this wonderful webinar, and that will be the contribution and comments of your mentor on this novel topic. So I'll be handing over to Mrs. Sharafaddin Taibat. Mrs. Taibat, are you there? Hello?
Just a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you everyone for listening patiently with us. Well, that was a wonderful presentation, Mr. Daniel, and kudos to you. So what I would like to add is that, well, I will start by saying personally, I would say it is kind of saddening to still talk about gender inequality and biases against a girl child in relation to I mean, what is the essence of still talking about gender biases and inequalities when we are talking about, we should just, I think there shouldn't be any need for us to dive into talking about the inequality, the biases against the girl child, while we are actually talking about girl child education in relation to nation building. I think we should just dive into it like we would our other the male counterparts. But that is the reality of the situation today, that we still have to talk about the inequality, the biases of a girl, militating against a girl child education, while we are talking about the role in nation building. And I look forward to a day when we don't have to acknowledge any biases or any inequality against the female child anywhere in the world, while we are talking about their role in nation building. Well, I would say women are, like everybody would agree with me, women are natural givers. They are more likely to give what they have. And I think this applies to education too. They are more likely to rub off on their family, whatever it is they have, knowledge, values, and what have you. They are more likely to rub off on their family. They are more readily available to impact knowledge on their family, on their children, and they are more likely to champion causes all around the world. Most of advocates today, most of people that are actually championing different causes all over the world, most of them are female, because they have the wherewithal, they think they have the strength, I don't know how to put that, the strength, the voice, so to speak, to bring people around and to convince them, to talk to them in a way they would understand, in the most basal and basic way that will enable them to to relate with them. You know, the empathy quality of a woman would actually make that possible for them to champion a cause and make people the targeted audience for that cause to actually relate to them on the most basic level. You know, they are more likely to rub off on their family, like I said earlier, community, and by extension, the society at large. Look at, let's talk about one of the female achiever that Mr. Daniel Adeagbo actually talked about. That is the person of Mrs. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Look at the level of development she has brought to the Nigerian economy. Just imagine for a second that kind of a woman was robbed of the chance of getting the kind of education and the level of education that she got. Look at what she is doing. She's doing excellently well. She's bringing so much. When she was the Minister of Finance for Nigeria, she was excellent in all. I mean, she was transparent. She had the knowledge and she brought it to the table. She gives systemic development, growth and development to the Ministry of Education while she was handling that post, and she's equally doing excellently well where she is right now. Imagine for a second that kind of a woman was robbed of, was denied the opportunity to have that education. That void would forever be there and would never know what it was like. So I think to cap it all up and to summarize the whole thing, I think a woman's education is as important as that of a man in nation building. Like, we have a lot to give, and we shouldn't be denied the something as basic as education to actually contribute our quota, which I would say has been excellent so far. So to contribute our quota to nation building worldwide, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, not just but all over the world. As we have the precedent, we have antecedents, we have proven to the world that we have a lot to give in technology, in finance, in banking and finance, in health, talk about any aspect of life generally. We have proven to the world that we have a lot to give to build the nation, to build the world, and to actually contribute meaningfully. So we shouldn't be denying that. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. And thank you so much, Dr. Mubarak, for being the anchor of this program.
Yeah, thank you, our very great mentor, for the wonderful contributions. You could palpate, or rather, for the non-medical ones, feel the passion in her voice when she's delivering her speech. She's so passionate about female education because she knows the importance of it, and she knows the direct relationship between educating a female and nation building. A lot of researches has gone into that, and the like of UNICEF, UNESCO, if you go through researches, they've been able to establish as a matter of fact that the only way you can build a healthy family, only way you can transform the community, the only way you can develop countries and at large the entire world is to concentrate and invest on female education. There is no other way to it. There is no other way.
And that is why they get meetings over meetings to develop. They even developed a Millennium Development Goal just to put up for the female education. So you can see how important that is. and how important our nation needs to look into that. Needs to look into that and incorporate it so as to allow the female folks to also contribute what they have proven they have to the development of the country. Thank you.
Absolutely. So there's no doubt that there is a direct relationship between female education, female upbringing, and nation's development. We'll be proceeding to the last phase. I'm happy that we have an extra 31 minutes to discuss this. I would say 30 minutes and 1 minute to do the closing remark, so that other people could ask their questions and contribute meaningfully to this wonderful webinar that we're having. So please, if you have a suggestion, I can see people raising their hands. So I think I don't know who was the first between Ahmed Abdulkarim and Ilyas Kazim, but I will go with nature. The design of nature is A should come before I. So to avoid any biases, I will just go with Ahmed Abdulkarim first, then Ilyas Kazim will be the second person. Those are the two people I can see raising their hands. Then subsequently, I will keep tab on other people that are raising their hands to comment. Ahmed Abdulkarim, you can have the floor.
All right, thank you very much. Next time, everyone should come with a name that starts with A. Okay, but honestly, I think Elias raised his hand, then I raised my hand. So if you want to know who raised his hand first, it was Elias, and you can.
Okay, then to be fair, then I will say Elias first. Then. So I didn't observe that. Mr. Elias, please, you have the floor.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Mubarak.
Yes.
The mentor, Mr. Ibat, and then the chairman, even the presenter. I think that it has been a good evening so far. I wanted to speak to some of the charts I saw. Question about why are we talking about female child education? When are we going to talk about male child education? I think that it's something that has to be problematized. We need to look into what the problem is on the ground that makes this conversation necessary and not the other one. It is the fact that, yes, people suffer from lack of quality education, both girls and boys. But statistics show that every time that this is considered, girls suffer more than boys because of a number of reasons. In fact, I tried to look at some random statistics as we're having that conversation, and I saw that chart up, and statistics are suggesting that, in fact, 60% or more of out-of-school children in Nigeria, for example, are girls, whilst some other statistics put it at every 3 children, every set of 3 children that are out of school, 2 of them are girls. And the reasons are not far-fetched because of so many factors that have been identified in the presentation already: cultural bias, religious issues, early marriage in some cases, and some peculiar challenges. When we talk about equality, gender equality or any kind of equality problem, there is something that surfaces, and that's called intersectionality. So intersectionality is when you have maybe 2 people suffering from the same problem, but one of them is suffering from that problem and other problems. So that person is standing in the middle of like 3 rivers. So if you have 2 victims, one of them is just battling with one river of problem that is, disturbing them, while the other party is battling from that river of problem and other rivers as well. So the girl is suffering from not having access, from poverty, from a whole lot of things that people suffer from. In addition to that, that girl is then confronted with, you have to marry this person, early marriage. Or in the middle of poverty, there are some foundations I've seen that they're actually focusing on providing girls with materials that they need to be able to, handle their period and other things. Imagine someone not having little amount of money to buy, pads. You know what I'm saying? So that's additional layer of challenge that person is suffering, different from what other people are suffering. So that person is treated as a victim in that externality, because they are suffering from not just one problem, but a whole lot of problems that now aggravate that. So I hope that will clarify why, it's important to talk about, girl child's education. That's not to say that boys or male children are not important, but it's to say that one problem seems to be reoccurring. It seems to, dominate conversation because of the nature of it. And then we've been told today about how far it is nation building, because if those girls that are out of school, those ones that don't have access to quality education, were to have access to them, it appears that our nation would have been better for it. And practical example, I always like to give practical example, is when we're doing student activity. Every student union leader back then, I can remember, understood how important it was to win, ladies on their side, because, ladies have the compassion to be able to win more people. So if you have a movement or advocacy for anything, if you don't have, ladies on your side, it appears that it makes the job harder for you, because that compassion is lacking. But the moment you have them in a community, if you have a well-educated, lady there, you'll be surprised how so many people will be quickly influenced by that person, male and female alike. They will be interested in actually following that person's footstep, and they want to, go education and all. If you want to doubt whether that is correct or not, have two people post, videos online. Let one person say, "Oh, education help." Let a guy say, "Oh, education help." Let another lady say, "Oh, education help," and try to see how, what the followership and the comment section is going to look like. So that's why I think that the conversation is not like to say, girls should be sponsored to school and males should stay at home. No, it's to say that we should balance the equation in a way that we're able to, achieve gender equality, which in some cases might mean equity. So equity means, oh, okay, two people have problem. One person is suffering from that problem from the other one. So we need to have a conversation about that one. So I think that I will stop at this point. If the message is passed, that will be fine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I was just about dropping something for you, like you should just round up in 30 seconds, but it's like you're also time conscious, so you were looking at the time, and that's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's great to see that you're time conscious. I think you've been able to provide a lot of insights to the questions. One of the fellows, I don't know whether he's a fellow. Yeah, I think so. One of the fellows asked regarding why are we not paying attention to the male folks too, that everything we blame it on the female folks and all that. So why is it that it's only about female help with time? So I think he has been able to let us realize the differential attainment. He has been able to let us know that there is actually a very wide gap and a sort of injustice, like the way Mrs. Taibat has rightly said the other time, when it comes to child education. I don't know whether we have any other person that will still speak more on that. So we'll just kick on with the contribution section. So I will be handing over to Mr. Chairman for his own contributions. Mr. Chairman, you can have the floor. 5 minutes, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Thank you, Daniel, for that beautiful presentation, and thank you, everyone, every member of the foundation that's present. And we have some people that are not members of the foundation, but they are here because of their passion and their interest in this topic of discourse. And I will thank especially the moderator of today, Mr. Abbas Farfadin, who has put a lot of effort into it together with the presenter, Mr. Daniel Adeagbo. A little bit of insights into why do we even choose this, apart from the apparent ones, the Sustainable Development Goals, which the Champions Educational Foundation is keen into. Our primary focus is on education. And we won't have a complete discussion if we don't talk about female child education, given to the disproportionate what's it called? Disproportionate nature of the education of male and female children. So the ratio is quite there. It's usually 60 to 40. I don't know if it has changed. So we need to have this discussion, you understand, in order to create a balance. And then sometimes 2 months ago, we were having a discussion at home, and I heard that a young girl was pregnant in somewhere in Ilori, and the parents, they started inviting everybody, come and they want to do nikah, they want to do wedding, they even got Aswebi and all stuff like that. And in that means, a lady was asking, how can you wrap your head around this? What are they even celebrating? Because they did it together with the childbirth. I mean, this is a bastard. This and I mean, they're even happy. They're even making a ceremony out of it. And I said simply, the difference between you and her is education. You couldn't wrap your head around it because you are in university, 500 level. She has not even finished secondary school, probably just left primary school, and she doesn't see beyond it. But you've seen beyond that, those primordial desires. You understand, and you realize that the world needs more than just this. And that's why you could question, why would you be married at this stage? So this one is not forced into marriage now. These are young boys and girls that are engaged in sexual activities, getting pregnant, being married at the age of 17, 18. Maybe if the boy is old, probably is 19, 20. So you get what I'm saying? So it is pan-systemic. So as I acknowledge all the problems that has been highlighted, early child marriage, female genital mutilation, and all other ones, okay? But beyond that, the importance of education can never be overemphasized, because it gives you a level of rationality, and it just shapes your view of life entirely, completely. Distinguishing between what is right and wrong is different for you. So that's one thing we have to get. So even beyond this, the systemic, the societal problems, individual values. So, and then what is education? So education is not only Western. We have to understand that as well. It's all, going to school, absolutely fine. No one against it. Go to school, get to at least level 10. I mean, get at least secondary school. You understand? But apart from Western education, there are other the social values, the cultural education, the traditional, the religious education. Okay, all of this makes someone whole, and it makes you to be able to have a holistic view of life without unnecessary bias. Okay, so, and I'll also key into both male and female child education. We would not say, because we concentrate, the problem is on female child education, neglect male child education, we put everybody together. Okay, so, and this brings me to the next point, which is religion. Religion bias, as mentioned by Daniel. The truth is, we cannot separate human being from their faith and beliefs. So we should be having a discussion of marrying the two, because in real sense, there is no religion that would say you should neglect. The common religion, no religion that will say you should neglect your female folks, you should not educate them, you should impoverish them, you should abuse them, you should do this. Just none. It is basically pure human desires. So when we have correct education, appropriate education of both of religion and Western, we would have a balanced society. So what does the religion say? What does the Western education say? It is hardly contradictory. And where there are contradictions, let's come to a round table and come to the people that are knowledgeable in religion and people that are religion and the government. Let them come to a round table, and there would always be a ground to shift. Okay, so that's about religion bias. And now the role of if a female child is well educated, we've listened to a number of people, successful people, female people, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, among others. Okay, it shows what they are capable of doing. But beyond that, we should remember that a nation is a system made of multiple family units. A nation is a system made of multiple family units, and like it has been well highlighted by the mentor, that they are natural givers. They know how to release this knowledge onto every other person. It's just natural. It comes to them naturally. So building the nation starts from the family. When we get our family right, we get our communities right, our society will be right, our state will be right, our nation will be right, and the world will be right. And it starts from the units, the building rock, which is the family, which is largely neglected nowadays, which is a primary constituency and responsibility that women have done excellently well. And for them to be able to combine this role with even bigger roles in the society, leading NGOs, leading societies, leading organizations, it is tremendous. It shows the capacity that this gender has. And the importance of the education can never be overemphasized. Thank you. I'll stop here.
Yeah,
Hello.
thank you for your contribution, and for rounding off at the appropriate time. I think you've spoken passionately about the importance of female education and some kind of factors, especially as regards religious beliefs, and when it comes to educating females and as it comes to female child upbringing. But what I think I just want to say on that as a form of contribution is we've got a lot of problems when it comes to how people interpret religions and how people exactly puts into context some of those things that they see in the books, the religious books. Like the case of Afghan at the moment, there's a lot of problems that the female folks in Afghans are facing when it comes to child education. Secondary schools and primary schools in Afghanistan about a year ago were shut down, and till this moment there hasn't been any child, whether primary school or secondary school, that has been able to go to school for almost a year now, if not more than, since the Taliban have taken over. So that is a very big problem we are having. And this is the same set of country in which when there was war going on before the withdrawal of troops by the US government, females were allowed to go to school. Now we have the Taliban government in place, and the first thing they announced was, because of their religious beliefs and all that, they will stop females from going to school. And we can always imagine the ripple effect in another 10 to 15 years. And we can always imagine the consequence of that action in another couple of years to come. So, of course, the United Nations, the WHO, the UNICEF, they are still battling it out with the government. The government is struggling in terms of economy and all that to propel the country. And majority of the things that they are trying to ask in forms of support, they are not getting it at the moment. And the reason why they are not getting it is borders on human rights abuses and all that. So I think the problem we have, like rightly said, is we've got a religious problem. And the major thing is about the interpretation for the custodians or people that think they are actually the custodian of those beliefs. I think there might be a difference between what the religion sometimes preaches and sometimes what we followers of this religion actually do or actually do. And that's where the problem is, because it's just so difficult to understand that a particular religion encourages female folks to go to school. But when a system comes in who ideally say they are the custodian of that religion and they are the ones that want to propel the religion, they are doing exactly what is opposite to what they are doing exactly opposite to what the religion actually preaches. So sometimes you just get confused and be like, what exactly is going on here? So that's the major problem we're having in the society. I think the interpretation of the religion is where the problem is. I don't know how we could solve that. Sometime maybe we'll have to come to a form of roundtable discussion among ourselves and say, should we actually checkmate those people that are interpreting religion for us? Should we actually check people excesses, especially those people that they assume the role of leadership in terms of being a religious leader and all that, the sheikhs and the pastors alike. So do we need to consider checkmating what they say and all that, as we see in some countries like United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, or we should allow them to say whatever they want to say without sieving anything that comes out of their mouth? So that might be another topic for discussion later. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your wonderful contributions. I will be proceeding into inviting the next speaker. I think it should be Niniola. You can have the floor. 4 minutes, please, so that Aisha Salantu can also contribute to the topic. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah. So I joined the discussion a bit late, but it's a very interesting topic, and I would like to contribute. Well, firstly, I saw a comment from somebody, I believe the person is a male, saying, when are we going to discuss about male folks? Actually, considering what is happening, we all see that the girl child is or her lacking behind. And I'm going to agree with the point I've heard so far, but what I want to add is the mentality of our parents and guardians. And I'm going to base it mostly on people in the, let's say the rural area, okay? So now, why should I be the one cooking when my brother goes to school? Why should I be the one washing his clothes when he attends tutorial? I think there is this mentality attached to, she's a girl. She's supposed to be the one doing all of these things. And the truth is, I don't know what they think of a female child. This mentality has been there for God knows when, and nobody is trying to correct it. Well, fine, people are trying to correct it, but some people are not listening. You see a girl child growing, and the next thing that comes to your mind is, oh, when is she going to get married? You are not thinking of when she's going to go to the university, okay? You're not thinking of when she's going to do the exact things that our male brothers are doing. So the issue goes down to our background, actually. Religion, fine, but our background. What do they really think of a girl child? Sometimes you talk about this kind of topic and you become very emotional and passionate about it. Okay, so why will you think that my brother should be better than me? Why do you think that he shouldn't know how to cook? I should be the one that should cook. I should be the one to clean his clothes. I should be the one to do this for him while he goes to school. No. So we need to talk to some people. Some people don't have the avenue to know about using a phone. They don't have the avenue to know about listening to news. They don't have the medium. How can we reach out to these people that no, you don't have to give out your child because you see that your female child is a bit grown and she's ripe for marriage? No, there are better things the child can do. Have you tried to do this? So we should, when we talk about things like this, fine, we should try to think about people that don't have access to what they can use to listen to us. They don't have access to internet. They don't have, how can we really reach out to these people? Okay. I remember when I was in school and we had a program, and what we talked about was, no, we're not going to talk about people that can listen to us on the news, people that can listen to, or that can go over their phones and see us saying something. Let's go to the rural area. Let's go down, deep down to people that the only thing they understand is the Yoruba language. Let's act a drama. Let them see what we're talking about. That's the best way they can understand. So now we've got a problem. How can we solve it? One of the very way we can solve this problem is to go down to those people that the network, the link, like they don't really have the avenue to listen to what we are saying. And those are the people that we should target the more, because when you look at it, the grown female that gave birth when they were 15, 14, they really came from that part of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Niniola, for your wonderful contribution. I think you've just highlighted some of those things that the previous speakers have also been saying, which is very important. We need to involve stakeholders in anything we want to do. There is obvious differential attainment. I don't think that is never in doubt, but like rightly said, there are loads and loads of factors, mitigating against female child education, and those things cannot be looked at from just one end. If we want to make any form of progress, we have to look at it from every corner. And I think one thing that one of the presenters or one of the contributors has mentioned is involving the stakeholder. This is very, very important. Like in the case of Afghan that was talked about in Afghanistan, and we can see that those people that ideally should even be championing the female education cause are the one that even kicking against it. So if the stakeholders are not involved, then there's no way we can go to. The same thing is happening at the local level, which is the northern part of this country. It's so difficult for female folks to get educated, largely because of the cultural upbringing, the cultural belief, some societal factors and all that. So it's not enough to build schools. It's not enough to encourage people to say go to school and all that. We have to look for a way to ensure that some of these cultural things and the societal norms mitigating against female education are also looked into. That was a very wonderful contribution. So I'll be going to the last contributor for today, and that is Dr. Aisha Absalam. I guess I'm right. Yeah, you can have the floor, please.
Yeah, thank you everyone for the wonderful contribution. I just want to add something. I think females' education goes beyond getting females into school alone. At least it's been shown that about probably 2/3 of the countries now are enrolling, having gender parity in terms of enrollment of children, generally both sexes, into school. But the problem stands in keeping these children, the female child, in school. Female education is also about ensuring that female learn and feel safe while in school. We understand especially in Nigeria now again, that a lot of challenges, even in the north, that we are talking about adopting girls, So we need to actually ensure that even females learn and feel safe even while they are in school, because it's not just about enrolling them in school, it's also about keeping them in school, have the opportunity to complete all levels of their education, ability to acquire the knowledge and skills to even compete in the labor market, to gain social, emotional, and life skills necessary to navigate them and adapt to a changing world. So it's about making decisions about their own lives also. So it's not just about getting them into school. What can we also do? I think we need to look into things that we can do to also keep them in school and make them feel safe. And I think this is not just about the government alone. We also have a role to play. We also needs to talk to every child, female child we know, that, okay, even if they have challenges while they are in school, they can still get back to school. They need to be empowered. And education is a form of empowerment for them. So I think we need to look into keeping them in school as well, and not just enrolling them in school. Thank you.
Thank you for your contributions. You talk about empowerment and other things that we need to really look into, and not just about enrolling them, but at least we should ensure that we also keep them in school. That was a very wonderful contribution. Our time is fast spent. I don't think there's any other person that is raising his hand or a hands up. So we might just be inviting one of us for closing remark. Do we have anyone that wants to volunteer to for the closing remark? I think I would prefer one of the fellows to do that. Any of the fellow who has not spoken today? Nat is here. He hasn't said anything. Defemi, Prince. I've not heard of you guys' voice today, so I would say one of you guys should just volunteer to give the closing remark. Hello, Nifemi, are you there? Oh, Nifemi is not there. Nathe, are you there? Nathe is not there too. And the last person that haven't heard, Prince, are you there?
I thought it was there. It was typing recently.
Some of them might just be shy. Maybe they just don't want to say anything. I can see Prince is yeah, he's off his stuff. Hi, Prince.
Please speak up.
Yeah. Can you give us a closing remark? We've not heard your voice today, so it would be lovely if we can hear something from your hand too.
We can have 2 closing remarks from the fellows.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can have 2. Yeah.
This is about you guys. This is a fellows seminar presentation. It should not be dominated by.
Yeah, good.
Oh, the network.
I already commented stuff.
Okay, Daniel, I think Prince has gone off. Daniel, can you give us a closing remark? Okay, he's the presenter. Sorry,
yes.
I wouldn't go for Daniel. Yes. Abiola just joined now. Abiola, Nifemi, Nathi, can any of you hear me? Or even Niniola, she's spoken, but I wouldn't mind if she could.
Nyanela is not a fellow. Nyanela is the wife of Barrister Elias.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening.
This is Nifemi, please. I would like to appreciate everyone for making the time to be here, and special thanks to the presenter, Mr. Daniel, for the wonderful presentation. I hope we can actually get together to do more of this kind of intellectual talk around that time. Thank you.
Thank you for the closing remark. Omotosho Abiola, are you there? Because the chairman has suggested having at least 2 closing remarks.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It was a nice presentation, and I really have to commend the presenter, Mr. Daniel. So I would want to suggest that the foundation should please make sure we don't we'll have another very soon, because I don't think it's been long since we had one. I'm hopeful we'll have another one very soon. I really love it.
Yeah, thank you for the closing remark. I think that's an important point you've raised. The last time
we have another one tomorrow.
Is it? I didn't know
It's
myself.
Saturday and Sunday.
But the only one,
Yeah,
the only
it's
one
not been
that,
circulated.
yeah,
I'm sorry, Prince will circulate that.
Prince,
He's
I
just
hope.
developing the. Yeah,
Okay.
Prince, please circulate
Who
it.
is the mentor? Before I say what I want to say, who is the mentor
I
tomorrow?
am the mentor. I
Oh,
am.
so he has started showing his bias toward female folks already, Prince. That's the only reason I can think of. Yeah, because we have
It's
a mentor
okay.
today that is a female, so there is already a bias. Because of the 60-40, you want to now make it 50-50. You are starting the goal shifting from tonight. Yeah, okay. That's fine. So we'll have another one tomorrow. Myself, I didn't know. So I just saw it and my thought was it's going to be like a week or 2 weeks apart. Yeah, so that's fine. Looking forward to tomorrow's thoughts
We are
too.
trying to catch up with the backlog. So we'll be having in the next month, so we'll have Saturday and Sunday to follow each other.
Sorry, just to take mental notes. What's the topic for tomorrow again?
Role of border control.
Okay.
In border control in nation security or something, fighting insurgencies. Border control in fighting insurgencies.
Okay, all right.
That's a very interesting topic.
Yeah, that's gonna be very, very interesting. I mean, there's a comment just this week on our border when somebody was saying that Nigerian border is just an imaginary stuff, which I agree with. So obviously we don't have the border. He just said it's an imaginary stuff, that there's nothing between Niger, Chad, and Nigeria, which we all agreed to. You understand? So it's an important topic. I think it's central to us insecurity and all that, and that would be a lovely one to look forward to. Yeah, so hopefully we'll meet same time tomorrow discussing the role of border in our nation's security, and we'll be able to contribute a lot for one another in getting that. So we'll join the curtain tonight, and we'll be inshallah looking forward to meeting you all tomorrow. We should all try as much as possible to invite those that are not here tonight, and those that all of us that we are here tonight, we should also, as much as possible, grace the occasions tomorrow. I will be saying at this point that I wish you all a very good night. Bye.
Thank you very much. That was a very fantastic moderation. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you. Bye.
Daniel, well done. Good job.
Thank you.